Hello everyone. This is Six Path Weeb, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we dive into an exciting Naruto alternate universe story. What if Naruko was raised by Orochimaru? Imagine a world where the future Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails grows up under the guidance of one of the most feared and brilliant shinobi in history. How would her personality change? What abilities would she develop? And how would this completely reshape the ninja world? Before we begin, here's a quick disclaimer. Disclaimer: the content on this channel is created for entertainment and discussion purposes only. I do not own any anime footage, images, music, or characters featured in this video. All rights belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Now, without wasting any more time, sit back, relax, and let's explore this incredible what-if scenario. Let's begin. Naruko stood atop the great stone faces of the Hokage, gazing out across the hidden leaf village she had promised to protect. The warm breeze played with her golden hair as she reflected on the journey that had brought her here. She remembered the friendships she had made, the challenges she had overcome, and the many people who had supported her along the way. Becoming Hokage had been a dream she once thought impossible, yet here she was. Beside every success was a lesson learned, and every lesson had helped shape the person she had become. As she watched the village lights twinkle below, an old memory surfaced. 16 years earlier, 12-year-old Naruko Uzumaki raced through the forests of the Land of Fire. Sunlight filtered through the leaves above as she followed a group of leaf shinobi searching for a missing girl named Kushina Uzumaki. Suddenly, something caught her eye. A strand of bright red hair rested on a nearby branch. Naruko paused and gently picked it up. "That's strange," she whispered. Looking around, she spotted another strand, and then another. Before long, she realized they formed a trail leading deeper into the forest. The other ninja had already disappeared into the distance, but Naruko trusted her instincts. She followed the trail carefully, determined to help. After a while, she arrived at a small clearing. There sat Kushina, looking tired and worried. "Hey!" Naruko called with a cheerful wave. Kushina looked up in surprise. "You found me?" "I sure did," Naruko said proudly. "Your hair helped me follow the trail." Kushina blinked. "My hair?" Naruko nodded. "It's really beautiful. The sunlight makes it shine like a ribbon of red silk. It was impossible to miss." A faint blush appeared on Kushina's face. Naruko knelt beside her. "Are you okay?" "I think so," Kushina replied softly. "Good. Everyone's been worried about you." Kushina looked down. "I didn't think anyone would come looking for me." "Of course they would," Naruko said. "You're important to all of us." For a moment, neither spoke. The forest hummed gently around them. Then Kushina smiled. "You know, I always thought you ignored me." Naruko rubbed the back of her head sheepishly. "I didn't mean to. I just always thought you were really strong." "Strong?" "Yep. Strong in spirit, strong in heart, and strong enough to stand up for yourself." Kushina's eyes widened. "Really? Really?" The smile on Kushina's face grew brighter than before. Together, they followed the trail back toward the village. Along the way they shared stories, laughed about silly things, and discovered they had much more in common than either of them realized. Years passed. The friendship between Naruko and Kushina grew stronger with every season. They supported one another through good days and difficult days alike. Eventually, their friendship blossomed into love, and they married surrounded by family and friends. Then one day, Kushina shared wonderful news. "Naruko," she said, her eyes sparkling, "we're going to have a baby." For a moment Naruko simply stared. "A baby?" Kushina laughed. "That's right." The realization finally sank in. "I'm going to be a parent." She spun around with excitement before carefully stopping herself. "I mean, a calm, responsible parent." Kushina giggled. It was one of the happiest moments of Naruko's life. Months later, friends and family gathered to celebrate the upcoming arrival. The village was filled with laughter and warm conversation. Kushina sat beside her friend Mikoto, who was also expecting a child. "What will you name your baby?" Kushina asked. Mikoto smiled. "I've been thinking about the name Sasuke." "That's a lovely name," Kushina said. "I hope our children become good friends." "So do I." Nearby, Naruko chatted with her old teacher Jiraiya. "I've been reading your newest story," Naruko said. "Oh?" Jiraiya replied. "What do you think?" "I love the main character." Jiraiya laughed. "You're easy to impress." "Maybe. But I was thinking that if our baby is a girl, I'd like to name her Naruko." Kushina overheard and smiled warmly. "That's a wonderful name." The celebration continued with music, food, and happy conversation. As evening settled over the village, everyone shared stories about hopes and dreams for the next generation. The future felt bright, and the Hidden Leaf village was filled with joy. Many years ago, Kushina was expecting a baby girl. One day, Orochimaru noticed that Kushina looked a little tired. "Yes, I saw that you looked a little pale, so I decided to get you something to drink," he said, offering her a cup of water. "I just wanted to make sure that you and your child are healthy and happy." Kushina smiled and accepted the cup. "Thank you for your concern. But I am sure that my daughter and I are doing just fine." "Very well. Have a wonderful day, Kushina." Orochimaru nodded politely and walked away. "I am certain your child will be remarkable," he said thoughtfully. Present day. Minato Namikaze stood atop a hill overlooking the Hidden Leaf village. The morning sun painted the rooftops gold, and gentle breezes carried the laughter of villagers through the air. Years earlier, Minato and Kushina had welcomed their daughter into the world. They named her Naruko, and from the moment she opened her bright blue eyes, they knew she was special. Naruko carried within her a powerful source of chakra, protected by a special seal created by her parents. Rather than being a burden, it was a gift that would one day help her protect others. As a baby, Naruko was curious and energetic. She would wiggle out of blankets, chase butterflies whenever she learned to crawl, and smile at everyone she met. One evening, as Minato and Kushina watched their daughter sleep peacefully, they spoke softly. "She has so much potential," Minato said. Kushina smiled warmly. "More importantly, she has a kind heart." "You're right," Minato replied. "No matter how strong she becomes, I hope she always remembers to care for others." Naruko stirred in her crib and let out a tiny yawn. Both parents laughed quietly. "She heard us talking about her," Kushina whispered. Years passed, and Naruko grew into a cheerful young girl with bright blonde hair and endless determination. She loved helping neighbors, learning new skills, and exploring every corner of the village. Whenever she faced a challenge, she remembered her parents' words. True strength comes from kindness, courage, and never giving up. Naruko carried those lessons with her every day. Though she did not yet realize it, many wonderful adventures awaited her. She would make lifelong friends, discover amazing abilities, and learn that the greatest power of all was believing in herself and helping those around her. And so Naruko's story was only just beginning. "A child, and already a chunin at that age," Kakashi said with surprise. The young girl slowly opened her eyes and blinked at the bright lantern light. She looked confused but calm as she sat up and glanced around the room. "Easy now," Kakashi said kindly. "You're safe." The other Anbu members helped the girl to her feet. One of them offered her a blanket, which she accepted with a quiet nod. "Do you remember your name?" asked the Anbu wearing a cat mask. The girl thought for a moment before answering. "My name is Aiko." Kakashi noticed that she seemed tired, but there was a steady determination in her eyes. "Can you tell us what happened here?" he asked gently. Aiko looked around the room. Instead of focusing on frightening memories, she spoke about the children she had met during her time underground. There were many kids here, she said softly. We helped each other whenever we could. We shared stories and encouraged one another. The Anbu listened carefully. One girl always talked about seeing the sun again, Aiko continued. She said that no matter how dark a place seemed, there was always a brighter tomorrow waiting somewhere. Kakashi smiled beneath his mask. That sounds like wise advice. Aiko nodded. She believed it with all her heart. The team carefully guided Aiko through the tunnels. As they traveled, they discovered notebooks filled with observations and records. Everything was collected so that the village could better understand what had happened and make sure no child would ever have to endure such loneliness again. When they finally emerged outside, Aiko paused. For the first time in years, she could see the open sky. Golden afternoon sunlight stretched across the village rooftops. Birds drifted lazily through the air, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of flowers. Aiko stared in wonder. It's beautiful, she whispered. It is, Kakashi agreed. Back in the Hidden Leaf village, news of the rescue spread quickly. The villagers were relieved to learn that a child had been found alive and that she would be cared for. Hiruzen welcomed Aiko personally. You have shown remarkable courage, he told her. From this day forward, you will have a place here. Aiko bowed respectfully. Thank you, Lord Hokage. Meanwhile, far away in a hidden chamber, Naruko sat quietly with her eyes closed. Over the years, she had grown into a bright and thoughtful young girl. Her blonde hair now carried faint reddish highlights, and her natural curiosity had only grown stronger. Inside her mind, she spoke with Kurama. The world outside must be amazing, Naruko said. It is very large, Kurama replied warmly. There are forests, rivers, mountains, and countless people with stories of their own. Naruko smiled. One day, I want to see all of it. I think you will, Kurama said. The young girl looked toward the future with hope. Though she had spent much of her life hidden away, she still dreamed of friendship, adventure, and discovering her place in the world. And somewhere beyond the walls around her, that future was already beginning to move closer. I was one at a younger age, Kakashi said calmly. Wait, dog, isn't he the one who was believed to have been taken by Hidden Rock Ninja during an escort mission? Yes, I believe so. Tenzo, I think his name was. He needs medical attention now. Cat, take him to the hospital. But what if we encounter Orochimaru? This child needs our help more. Yes, sir. Cat carefully lifted the bow and disappeared from the tunnels. When will Lord Hokage arrive? Soon. Let's keep moving. The group reached a point where the tunnel split into 3 passageways. You two go left, you two go right, and I will take the center, Kakashi instructed the other 4 Anbu members. Will you be alright by yourself? I'll be fine. Now go. There may still be other survivors. Yes, sir, the 4 Anbu replied at the same time. Kakashi hurried down the center passage until he arrived in a large room lined with what appeared to be prison cells. Most of them were empty. What is this place? He wondered aloud. He examined the room carefully until a small voice broke the silence. Hello. Who are you? Kakashi turned and saw a child no older than 6 sitting inside one of the cells. The child looked strangely familiar. Her skin was pale, and she had long, spiky blonde hair streaked with red. Her eyes were especially unusual. One was a bright cerulean blue, while the other was a glowing green that seemed clear and gentle. Who are you? The girl asked again. I'm a member of the Anbu from the Hidden Leaf village. You should leave. Father won't like that you're here. Father? Orochimaru. He doesn't like visitors. Orochimaru is your father? Kakashi asked in surprise. As he looked more closely, he noticed the shape of the girl's face and her bright blue eye. Something about her appearance reminded him of someone he once knew. "Sensei?" he whispered. "How kind of you to visit, Kakashi Hatake." Kakashi turned and saw Orochimaru approaching. "I never expected you to be the one to find this place," Orochimaru said. "Though considering who your teacher was, perhaps I shouldn't be surprised." "Orochimaru, you are under arrest for crimes against the Hidden Leaf Village," Kakashi declared. Orochimaru chuckled softly. "Oh, Kakashi. Do you truly believe you can stop me? I won't allow any more innocent children to suffer." "Such determination. Sarutobi-sensei taught you well. Still, I cannot allow you to take my child." Orochimaru quickly formed several hand signs and placed his hands on the ground. A glowing seal appeared beneath the blonde girl. Before Kakashi could react, Naruko vanished in a flash of light. "What did you do with her?" "I simply sent her somewhere far away and safe from your interference." Kakashi stepped forward, ready to protect the child if he could. Before anything more could happen, a large black staff landed between them. "Orochimaru, your time here is over." Orochimaru looked up and smiled. "Why, hello, Sarutobi-sensei. How nice of you to join us." "What are you doing, Orochimaru?" Hiruzen asked sadly. "How could you choose this path?" Orochimaru shook his head. "Our views have become too different." "I cannot allow this to continue," Hiruzen replied firmly. For a moment, the room was silent. Then Orochimaru stepped back. "I will leave for now. But our paths may cross again someday." With that, he disappeared into the shadows. Hiruzen stood quietly for a moment before hearing a groan nearby. "Kakashi." He hurried over. "Are you all right?" "I'll be fine," Kakashi replied tiredly. "I'll get you some help." "Lord Hokage?" "Yes." "Are you certain that Naruko is really gone?" Hiruzen blinked in surprise. "Why would you ask that?" "I just saw a child," Kakashi said softly. "And she looked so much like Minato-sensei." Exhausted, Kakashi lost consciousness, leaving Hiruzen deep in thought. Could it really be possible? Far away, the young blonde girl opened her eyes in a peaceful forest. Birds chirped overhead, and somewhere nearby she heard the gentle oink of a pig. The last thing Naruko remembered was Orochimaru sending her away. Somehow, during the process, she had altered the flow of the technique and arrived somewhere entirely different. She sat up slowly and looked around at the sunlight shining through the trees. "I got away," she whispered. A bright smile spread across her face. "I actually got away." For the first time in a long while, Naruko felt hopeful about what adventures might await her next. She heard the same little oink again, so she stood up and followed the sound. As she stepped into a sunny clearing in the forest, Naruko spotted two travelers. One appeared to be a woman in her 40s with long blonde hair tied into two ponytails. She wore a white shirt, dark blue pants, a black belt, and sturdy shinobi sandals. Draped over her shoulders was a green coat, and on her forehead was a small purple diamond-shaped mark. The second person looked a little older than Naruko, perhaps a teenager. She wore a mesh shirt beneath a loose black kimono that reached her calves, along with shinobi sandals. Beside her sat a small pink pig wearing a red jacket and a string of beads around its neck. "Lady Tsunade, do we really have to keep traveling like this?" the younger woman asked. "Why don't we stay in one place for a while?" Tsunade smiled. "Shizune, I have a feeling our next stop is going to be wonderful. I can just tell." "You said that about the last town," Shizune replied with a sigh. "And the one before that." "What, don't you trust me?" Tsunade asked playfully. "Of course I do, Lady Tsunade," Shizune answered quickly. "Oink!" squealed the pig, Tun-Tun, as if she wanted to join the conversation. "Well then, let's keep moving," Tsunade said. As they prepared to leave, Tsunade noticed a small blonde girl standing quietly at the edge of the clearing. Her clothes were worn from travel, and she watched them with wide, curious eyes. Lady Tsunade, what's wrong? Shizune asked. She followed Tsunade's gaze and noticed the girl as well. Hey there, Shizune called kindly as she walked toward her. Are you okay? Naruko took a cautious step back. She wasn't used to meeting strangers and wasn't sure what to expect. Seeing this, Tsunade approached slowly and calmly. Are you all right? Shizune asked gently when she stopped a few feet away. Where is your family? Naruko looked down for a moment. I don't really have anyone with me, she answered softly. Are you hurt? Naruko shook her head. Shizune glanced back toward Tsunade. Tsunade knelt beside the young girl. She noticed Naruko's bright blue eyes and the determined expression on her face. Where did you come from? Tsunade asked. I lived in my father's laboratory. Tsunade blinked in surprise. And what is your father's name? Orochimaru. Both Tsunade and Shizune exchanged startled looks. There was something unusual about the answer, yet Naruko spoke honestly and calmly. A moment later, Naruko tilted her head. Excuse me, ma'am? Yes. Tsunade replied. Are you from Konoha? You look familiar. Tsunade smiled. Yes, I am. Why do you ask? I've read about Konoha in books, Naruko said. You look like Tsunade Senju, one of the legendary Sannin. Tsunade raised an eyebrow. And if I were Tsunade? Naruko's face brightened immediately. Then maybe you could take me to Konoha. Konoha? Tsunade asked. Why do you want to go there? Naruko looked toward the sky for a moment. I've always wanted to see it, she said. I've read so many stories about the Hidden Leaf Village. It sounds like a place where people care about one another. Tsunade studied the young girl carefully. There was hope in her voice and a spark of determination in her eyes. And what makes Konoha so special to you? Tsunade asked. Naruko smiled warmly. I don't know exactly, she admitted. But whenever I read about it, it felt like a place where I might belong. For a moment, the clearing became quiet. Tsunade looked at Naruko with growing curiosity. Something about the girl seemed familiar, though she couldn't explain why. Then Naruko's bright smile widened even more as she looked hopefully at Tsunade. So, do you think I could visit Konoha someday? Dear YouTube family, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you for your support. Regards. 6 Path Weeb.